The Penguin, the newest DC show in the Batman Matt Reeves universe, just wrapped its 8 episodes on HBO, and this is by far the best comic book TV series we have ever gotten. It's honestly ranked high on a list of the best comic book movies or series ever. Matt Reeves just gets Batman, he gets Gotham, he gets these characters. The Batman is by far my favorite Batman movie ever, and possibly my favorite comic book movie ever. I think everything about it was just perfect and was just Batman. I think he's the best director for Batman ever. He gets the character, he gets the side characters, he gets the darkness, the tone, and most importantly, he gets Gotham. And I think he's really the first Batman director ever to truly understand Gotham and how important it is to the character. And this series, The Penguin, just builds on all of that and adds even more to the city of Gotham, the Penguin, and all the side characters. And with saying all that, this show doesn't even rely on the movie. I mean, Batman's not even in this at all. It's its own standalone thing, and it's just perfectly executed. It's how you do a spin-off. It's how you add to a universe. I think so many comic book movies and shows can learn from The Penguin, and so many shows in general. Like, this is how you tell a story. The Penguin takes place about a week after the events of the Batman, and just such a clever way of recapping what happened in that movie without doing a last time on the Batman. It was so clever, and it really helped set the tone of this show. I think the first 10 to 15 minutes of the show were just exactly how you start a series, exactly how you get people hooked, exactly how you get to understand these characters. The main character of Oz Cobb, the Penguin, like, you just get him after these first 10-20 minutes of the show. I am a sucker for character studies. Like, Better Call Saul is probably my favorite and the best show I've ever seen, and this is right up there with that. It is one of the best character studies I've ever seen. It's how you do it, not only with the main character, but all the characters around Oz. It was so well done. It's a character-driven story, and exactly what this show needed to be, and exactly what a lot of these, comic book shows should be, character-driven, not story driving the character. Each week, you view these characters vastly different, and at the end of every episode, you're not just looking forward to see what's going to happen next, but especially for me, I was curious, who will I be rooting for next? Who will be the villain next week? Who will be, the good guy next week? Like, it's just, the show makes you think a lot, and it was such a fun and just brilliant watch. The acting in this show might be the best part about it. From everyone all around the board, this show is an acting masterclass. Colin Farrell, who's playing Oz Cobb, who's playing the Penguin, he will be for sure getting this Emmy, and if he doesn't, I will be rioting. Acting is not easy at all, but I can imagine it's even harder when you have pounds and pounds of makeup on your face, on your body. I mean, he completely transforms into this role and completely and literally embodies this character. The way he talks, the way he walks, I mean, you just kind of start rooting for this character. You kind of start to feel for this character, or at least in the beginning. And the true testimony to that is at the end of the series, where most of us, especially me, when you hate this guy now, you kind of feel betrayed because you were rooting for this character all along. You wanted him to win, or you just felt for this character, and at the end you feel betrayed, even though we knew all along, this is a Batman villain, this is a bad guy. We feel betrayed because we were kind of rooting for him, but now we realize, damn, we were just rooting for a monster. That's all thanks to the brilliant writing of the show, and of course the incredible performance by Colin Farrell. But what I love most about his performance is his facial expressions. I mean, you could tell exactly what he's thinking, exactly what he's going to do, just from the look on his face, and I can imagine that's so hard. Like what I said, you have all this makeup on you. Also, one of the many highlights in the show is Oz's relationship with Victor. It's very twisted. It's like a Walt and Jesse type of relationship, but probably even more twisted. But it also has, so many father and son layers to it. Like I said, at the end of every episode, you just don't know how to feel about this character or this relationship. Is it good? Is it bad? Show just makes you think. But Kristen Milioti gives the performance of a lifetime. She somehow steals the show away from Colin Farrell. Well, I don't want to say steals it away because they're both so great, but she is like the highlight of every episode with her performance as Sophia Falcone. She steals every scene she's in, and her own episode 4, is by far my favorite episode in the entire show. Because this episode for me was like when I started to, root for her and not see her as the villain, starting to see maybe Oz as the villain, starting to feel more for her character, but still, like, every episode I was just switching off because you're seeing both sides of the characters, and it's balanced so well. But I've never quite seen a performance like this. She's vulnerable, she's powerful, she's scary, and she's all that at the same time, and she can also show that with also not having any lines. You could just see it on her face. She just gave an incredible performance, and I hope she gets every award possible for this because she definitely deserves it. She has become one of my favorite characters in the Batman universe, and before the show I really knew nothing about the character. But literally everyone in the show gave a 10 out of 10 performance and completely understood the character. I didn't even get to talk about Oz's mom, Frances Cobb, or Clancy Brown's character, Salvatore. But also another one of my favorite things in this show is the intensity. This show knows how to build and build on intensity. Every episode was incredibly intense, and it could be a huge thing like a gun shootout or a city or the part of the city blowing up, or it could be something really small like Vic trying to get Oz's mom into the building without this bad guy seeing her, which was one of my favorite scenes of the show. And this show just knows how to build intensity without doing too much. But also what makes the show so intense is nobody feels safe on the show. Not a single character felt safe in this show. I could have told you Oz could have died in this show. I could have told you Sophia could have died. Nobody felt safe, and it just made you so attached to your screen that like you just couldn't look away from the show. It's never boring. It's always so intense, and it was great. But the writing in the show is absolutely brilliant. I could go on and on and on. Oz's backstory, I mean, that was just brilliantly done. I mean, that's when you first be like, no, I can't be rooting for this guy anymore. Look what he did as a kid. He's literally a monster. Not to mention the acting in that scene by all these kids. The kid playing a young Oz did a great job. And the complete opposite with Sophia's backstory. You start to now feel for her character. Maybe realize, you know, she's not the bad guy in this show. We should be rooting for her, not Oz. It was just brilliant storytelling, brilliant writing. I don't have really any critiques with the show. I mean, I could say, you know, like, where's Batman? The part of the city blew up and Batman's not there, or even Jim Gordon. I feel like he should have been in it at least, but like, I don't really care. The show definitely didn't need him at all. It was more like a, you know, I don't buy that Batman wouldn't show up here. Yeah, The Penguin is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's definitely one of the best comic book projects I've ever seen from a live action standpoint. It was brilliant. If you haven't checked it out already, you are missing out. Go check it out. It's literally a 10 out of 10 all the way around, at least for me, and everyone I've talked to about it just loves this show, so make sure to check it out. And if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to drop a like, comment what you guys thought about The Penguin in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.